Today we're going to take a look at the 2014 Chevrolet Captiva. And I just have to say, I don't like this design. This in the front, it looks horrible. It just, I don't know. All car makers are really doing it now with just this entire design. It's the modern look, I guess, but when everyone does it, it's hard to tell one car apart from another. So when I first seen this car, I thought it was like a Honda or a Hyundai or a who knows what, but it's actually Chevrolet, and they're all just kind of following this same look and style. Now, if you look on Google, the 2014 Chevrolet Captiva, the European model, is a lot nicer looking in the front. It has a nice bold look to its front. This has barely any grille, and it's just annoying. So the look to me doesn't do it for me. This is the LTZ model, however, which means that it does feature remote start. Which is kind of a neat feature. One thing you'll notice on the button here, though, it does not have a trunk release or a back hatch release, which is kind of disappointing to me because this is huge and heavy. I mean, for the car, it's just heavy. So there's your back hatch, plenty of room. I like to compare this car to the Ford Escape because I feel like this is kind of the same class as the Ford Escape, a small mid-size SUV. And this has twice as much trunk space as the Ford Escape does. But as you might imagine, in order for it to do that, it has absolutely no space right here. Now, considering that this seat is actually set for me at 6'4", the front seat that is, there's no room at all. Passenger seat's not much different. Actually got that one folded down. As you can see, not much to look at. Inside the car, we do have leather upholstery, which I'm going to complain about because, yes, it's leather and it's nice, but there's no give. It's hard as a rock. So that's annoying. This entire gauge cluster that they've got going on, or center, whatever, hard, cheap plastic, the same radio they've used for years. I mean, you know, this is just, it's outdated. For a 2014, for an LTZ, the highest end model they offer, I would expect more. And this just doesn't deliver that for me. One thing I do like, that I reviewed a 2012 Chevy Impala a couple years ago that was the LTZ, and when I remote started the vehicle, it did not turn on the air conditioning, and that was so annoying. This one does. The air conditioning is on, and it is blowing cool air now, so that's cool. It does have manual shifting, but that turned out to be kind of a nightmare. It just didn't want to work right for me. And I tried to use it going down the mountain to keep it in 4th and 5th gear, but 4th was too low, so it revved the engine too high and it made it go too slow. 5th was just not enough, and it just took off and left. So gear ratios just aren't for me. This is the parking brake, and this has to be the worst design flaw I've ever seen. It sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, and sometimes you sit here and do this, trying to get it to release your brakes, but it doesn't, and it's just a nightmare. So yeah, let me just go ahead and tear this car a new one. I mean, really, I'm just not impressed. Not for an LTZ, not for the amount of money that this vehicle costs. I just don't see it. My steering wheel's locked because I didn't put the key in. I wonder if I can put it in gear. No, I can't put it in gear because the key's not in. It does have the auto dimming rear view mirror. That's a nice feature. It does have OnStar, which I wasn't able to test, obviously. It does have a moonroof button there, which you'll see in just a second. And then there's the garage door opener. Here is the moonroof. One thing I was kind of disappointed in is the back does not crack open like most sunroofs. The only way it opens is down and back, which obviously it isn't going to do to put the key in. Let's go ahead and do that. Gotta move that steering wheel because I locked it. My goodness. So do that. It doesn't do anything. I do that and it'll open. The satellite radio did not come standard in this vehicle. I had to have it, not installed, but, activated myself. Which I did because I wanted to get a good feel of it to see how that worked. And it didn't work very well, to be honest. This vehicle scored lower. Of all the vehicles I've driven this year, this is the lowest scoring vehicle as far as satellite reception. It cuts out at random times without any reason. I mean, a cloud could be in the way and it just cuts out. And that's not common. That's never been common. Even with my 2000 model Taurus over there, it's not a problem. So that's a little weird that it cuts out. The signals is another thing that just kind of bugged me. I guess you can hear it. I don't know. It sounds old. I'm so used to these new cars with the deet-doot-deet, they sound new, and this just has the old tick-tock, like a really, really old car. And that just doesn't, I don't know, that doesn't appeal to me. This car is so outdated to be a 2014 and to be an LTZ model. That's my issue. That's my biggest complaint with this car. It's just not up to date with where we stand today in technology. It's just not that nice. So, it does have a USB plug in this area here. You've pushed that back. There's a USB plug down there. That's nice because I have my phone plugged into it. It does have an auxiliary jack for playing your music through the stereo. One thing it does not have, which was a huge disappointment to me, was Bluetooth. You cannot Bluetooth your phone to the car stereo. They actually want to force you to use their stupid OnStar system, which you have to pay extra for and buy minutes for, and it's just a complete waste of money. And to force you to do that, they didn't put Bluetooth in the car, so you can't link your existing phone to it, and for the same reason you can't play music through your phone to the car unless you use an auxiliary cable, which we're in 2014. Get with the program. I hate to just completely bash a car. But if I don't like it, I don't like it. And I told you guys I would give you an honest review every single time. And this has got to be an honest review. I mean, usually all it takes for a car to pass, in my book, is it needs to be nice. It needs to be feature rich. This being the LTZ model is the most features they offer for this particular type of vehicle. And I like the features, don't get me wrong, but the way that they present the features in this hard, cheap plastic manner and this stereo system that hasn't changed in years, it's outdated. It's time for something new. It's time to catch up with the competition who are leaving you in the dust at this point. I'm not a Chevy person. I never really have been. I really like the Impala LTZ that I reviewed 2 years ago, and that's kind of what got me into Chevy in the first place, but honestly, I haven't driven a Chevy since then until today with this one, and this one doesn't impress me much. Like the Shania Twain song. It does have rear sensing system when you back up. You heard it beep one time there. That sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. I have my complaints about it, mainly because it'll beep sometimes when I'm near a curb, but then when I'm backing up toward a car, it doesn't beep at all. And I know there's a car there, I can clearly see it, but it has no idea what's going on. So that's kind of annoying. So I wouldn't depend on that by any means. The car is a decent car. It's a 4-cylinder. It got pretty decent gas mileage, and I, overall can't complain about, how it drives and how it reacts on the highway and, all that. But feature-wise, to pass my test, it didn't. I just don't like it. It's not for me. Only one of the windows are power automatic. It is not automatic up as you can see, you have to do it manually. The other three mirrors, it's been a long day. The other 3 windows are not power at all. I mean, they're power, but not automatic. You get what I'm saying? So there's that. I created a review a couple days ago, and I felt like I didn't go in depth enough with the vehicle, and I just said I hated it, and that was pretty much it. And I felt like I would recreate the video today before I uploaded it to kind of give you guys an idea of some things that I'm not particularly happy with on the vehicle, and if there's anything that I liked, probably the remote start. I've grown really accustomed to that for the past week, but I think I could live without it. So as far as steering wheel controls go, pretty basic. This is the on-off switch for the cruise control. Down is set minus, and up is set plus, and also is resume, and yeah, same as every other car nowadays. As far as these buttons go, I don't really know how OnStar works with them because I wasn't able to test OnStar because it's too expensive. But minus will channel down 1 and plus will channel up 1 as far as like your presets. And then this one controls the volume, which is kind of slow. One thing that I did kind of like, I don't know how it works. I don't know, maybe there's a sensor in the car somewhere, but the automatic windshield wipers, if you put them on, they don't tend to, well, they are now. Oh, they were already on. Wow, okay. See, they were on the whole time, but they never went across the windshield because there's no rain on it. But as soon as rain hits the windshield, they'll come on. And if rain hits the windshield at a greater pace, they'll come on faster. So they've been on the entire time I've been doing this video, and they've not swiped one time because there was nothing on the windshield. I don't know if that's, you know, I don't know how they've managed to pull that off. I know Ford has like a camera that sets up here, and that looks like a box of something there. Oh, yeah, okay, I just touched it, and it you can look right in here if I can get the camera up there, that box right there, and if you touch it, well, okay, now it's not going to, but I touched it and it caused the windshield wiper to go across, so that's interesting. But I guess that's a rain sensor that they've added, which is cool. I wasn't even aware it had that. Back to the gas mileage, it is a 4-cylinder, and it gets pretty decent gas mileage, but it has absolutely no pickup. The power in this car, okay, now the windshield wiper is going to go crazy. The power in this car is greatly disappointing. I would expect more from it. I don't know what, I just know it's a 4-cylinder engine. I don't really know anything about it, but I know that it does not have enough power to move this car. You really have to get on it at the red light to even keep up with everyone else who's taking off at a normal pace. And if you kind of take off at what you would assume to be a normal pace, you get left behind. It's like you're going nowhere fast. So the power is pretty disappointing in this. But it is a 4-cylinder, so you can't expect much. It does get good gas mileage. It's definitely not a V8 like the Ram that I drove last week, so you have to realize that as much. It has this button here called Eco Mode, but I really don't know what it does or how it works. I wasn't able to get a light to turn on when I press it, so I have no idea what it does or where it's at. Or if it even does anything. Like in the Chrysler Town & Country that I drove, it had an eco mode, and I felt like it just messed with my gear ratios and caused the engine not to rev as higher. And I guess that would save gas, but I didn't enjoy the driving experience with it on, so I drove with it off the entire time. So as far as this one goes, I wasn't able to notice any difference at all with it on or off, or even if it ever came on, because there was never a light. So this car has automatic headlights, only the lights are on 24/7. If the car is running, the lights are on, which are kind of annoying because you don't need your headlights in the middle of the day. I understand some cars have running lights, but I'm just not a big fan of them. One of the biggest things that kind of ticked me off is this is your fog light button, and it automatically turns itself off every time you turn the car off. So every time you get in the car, you're having to turn your fog lights on every night when it gets dark. And I like my fog lights on. I leave them on all the time, so to have to keep turning them on in this vehicle was kind of annoying. I like to give my vehicles a rating of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it. And this one obviously is a forget it. I wouldn't even rent it. If I'm given the option to rent it again, I will not. I've rented the Ram several times, you know, because I was given the option. Do you want it again because it's all we really got? Yeah, sure, I'll take it. But if they say this Captiva is all we've got, I'm going to say, no, it's okay. I'll wait for something better. I would not even rent this car again. Based on its class of, say, a mid-size SUV or a small SUV, I give it a 4 out of 10 just based on it being so outdated and kind of inconvenient and really annoying at different parts and aspects of the vehicle, of just things that should just work, like the fog lights, for example, the parking brake for another. It's the little things like that that really have nothing to do with the fact that it's an LTZ or not, just the fact that it as a car itself should operate easier and does not, is pretty annoying. So I give it a 4 out of 10 on that. As far as the LTZ aspect goes, I would expect way much more than this. This may have been okay in 2012, but it's 2 years later. You've had plenty of time to think something through. I think the entire time they made this vehicle, the design team was on vacation, because even the outside of the vehicle is ugly. It does not really, it doesn't appeal to me at all. So as far as an LTZ go, I give it 1 out of 10 because I mean, I would expect more. This is supposed to be the high-end vehicle, and this is the best you can do? I mean, these seats were just disappointing. I'm really having to poke down on this to get it to... It's just not soft. The leather is not soft. So, anyway. I hope I haven't caused any problems with people who are Chevrolet people and are now offended because I gave this car a bad review. I don't like it. It's not a good car, and I wouldn't buy it, and I wouldn't recommend anyone to buy it. And I take it back at 7 a.m. in the morning. Nope, 8 a.m. 8 a.m. in the morning. So that's going to be fun, and I'm debating on taking it back this afternoon just so I don't have to get up at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 7. I'd have to get up at 7 to be there by 8. So I might do that. But in either case, I wanted to get a review up before I do that. This is the 2014 Chevrolet Captiva LTZ, and I didn't enjoy it, and it just wasn't all that for me. So hopefully next time we'll get something different. I am working on a 2015 Chrysler 200. I don't know when or if it will ever happen, but apparently they've made a 200C this year. And apparently it's as nice as the 300, which I also still have not reviewed because I can't get my hands on one. But I have a greater chance of getting the 200C. So let's cross our fingers and hope for that. Let's see where that goes. So I will see you guys in the next review. Hopefully next time I will get a vehicle that I actually like, and I can go in depth about what I love about it and talk great things about it all day. But I mean, I guess I'm just picky. And when there's so much to choose from in today's, you know, choices, I want to be picky. I want to know what I want, and I want to like give you guys the honest opinion of mine that's like, you know, is it worth your time and money? Because there's so many options out now, and there's no reason why you should choose a crappy piece of crap car that you don't love 100% because you're trying to save some money. There's no reason for that. Because there's so many choices out today that you can get better for the same price, if not cheaper. I have already figured it out. This is my car. I'll just we'll go look at it. It's probably dirty because my mom's been driving it, and she likes, you know how girls are. They don't take care of their cars. Anyway, this is like the fully loaded, decked out moonroof, leather seats, climate controls, rear spoiler, dual overhead cam engine. It's the biggest engine offered in this vehicle. It's the nicest one, and that's stuff that interests me. Things like that interest me. There's the satellite radio antenna, and even there, it doesn't have nearly as much trouble as this one does on the back. I think it's on the back. Is that it right there? No. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, right there. Anyway, my next vehicle, if everything works out, is going to be a Chrysler 300 because, I mean my permanent vehicle, not my next rental, because I've done a lot of research, I've done a lot of comparing, and that's exactly what I want. It's everything I need and everything I want. I've been looking at the John Varvatos edition, and I know they're like 50 grand, and that's not something I can afford, but I found one 1 year old with 10,000 miles on it, which isn't even bad for 1 year old, for 30 grand. And I'm like, okay, that's a little bit more reasonable. I could, you know, that's doable. So anyways, I'm going to take this back to Enterprise today or tomorrow sometime. And that's been my review of the 2014 Chevrolet Captiva LTZ. And hopefully I didn't lose any subscribers over this one. This is like twice in a row I've given a bad review, but come on. You know, you can do better, and you know you can. So maybe the 2015 Chevrolet Captiva will have some major changes that will make it a little bit more appealing. But at this point, I wouldn't waste my time on it. See you guys later.